All right, folks, back on the Bossman Show. Special guest Ryan Akers, with author of Getting Things Done. We're going to get things done today with Ryan today on the Bossman Show. He's out of Houston, Texas, and he's going to help us with some money tips today for during the pandemic and the holiday season and help you in 2021. My brother Ryan, how you doing, my man?
What's going on, boss man? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Man, look here, bro. Think about your city. I think about food, barbecue, turkey legs, man. Uh, James Harden acting the fool at the strip
Right,
clubs.
right, right. Yeah, we kind of known for that.
Yes, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. He was a little baby last week.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of being at practice.
Yeah, with no mask on.
Yeah, well, I don't think he cares. You know how that go.
He already got COVID once. He already got COVID once. He don't want to get it twice, but he think he
Man,
good.
he's still kind of young. He ain't really figured it out just yet. He's still going through life.
Most definitely. Well, bro, let's talk about your book, man. What inspired you to write the book, Getting Things Done, my brother? I want to help people, inspire them to get things done with their money, financially, entrepreneurially. So, what kind of gave you that inspiration to do this, man, for our people?
Getting things done was truly inspired for self first, right? And as I was writing the book, I wrote it from a position of lack, I would say. And when I say lack, I don't necessarily mean financial lack. I just mean like a period of my time where it was like motivation. I felt like I needed to turn it up a little bit, and I was dry in that area, if that makes sense, right?
Yes.
While I was writing it, I realized that other people can use the same information and knowledge, because I'm surely not the only person that goes through that. I'm normally a high energy person, very optimistic person. I push other people to go, and at that particular point in time, I needed to push myself. So sometimes you got to get out of your own way in order to make a way.
Yes.
And so I wanted to inspire other people who were maybe lacking in pushing themselves to become entrepreneurs, or pushing themselves just to become the best person or version of them, you know? So hopefully this book, Getting Things Done, will be an inspiration to those people. That's a short read, but powerful read. Give
Yes.
you tips on how to get things done, literally. Kind of like Nike, just do it. You
Yes.
gotta just go get things done. No
Most
excuses.
definitely. Most definitely. Now, to our listeners and our followers here, how
Mhm.
he got your start. You was in the tax world, because man, taxes are
Okay.
something that I have no knowledge about. I get my
Yeah.
W-2, 1099, and my everything else. I give it to somebody else. I don't know where to start. Like, I don't know what this stuff mean. Just make sure I don't owe them jokers no money at the end of the year.
Right.
that's,
Right.
that's,
Right. Hey, a lot of people are like you. All right.
yeah. So you go from the tax world to having your own franchise. So talk about that,
Yeah.
man. How you set some of those seeds to say, hey, I can do this myself on my own for my own people on my own thing. So where'd you kind of get into that world? Then how'd you decide to say I'm gonna take this to another step, do it on my own now?
Okay. Good question. So basically, I've been entrepreneur for, this is 2000 now, 2020, excuse me. So about 12 years. So 2008, I got an opportunity from a young man that was out here to jump into his tax business, right? To go in his tax world. Now, initially, it was not something that I was aspiring to do in that capacity at all. My family has been in the tax business for like 40 years in California, but that still wasn't something that I wanted to do. So this gentleman invited me to a class, taught this class. It was about 10 people, and at the end of the 2 weeks, I was the only person remaining. I guess I just kind of figured, all right, let's try it out. At the time, I was working in the oil field. That business here in Texas is lucrative. So, but you was working, right? It ain't like, you sitting at a desk. I was like man humping
I
out
feel
there,
you.
all right? So I was toggling back and forth with the notion of staying in the oil field because you make good money. You got to bust your butt, but you make good money. And I was making, basically, I was getting a percentage of everything that everybody was doing for that particular year. And I remember one week, he gave me cash. And the cash that I had for that week was like ridiculous. I was like, I'm not going back to work. like, like why? It just clicked to me like there's no reason why I can't do this and make the same amount of money that I'm making over here. If I can, that was my notion. if I can make this amount of money that I make a year here in a couple of months, I'm not going back to work. So that's kind of what happened. I jumped into that, and I've been rocking and rolling ever since. Since then, 2014, I transitioned and jumped into my own tax business, right? And I did that one for us, for my people. I got a partnership with my cousin out there in California. We kind of just built the business, started franchising out. We had about 10 locations here in Texas, and my whole thing was just trying to, again, inspire other people to get off their butt and do it. But look at me first as the example. And from that, it kind of spawned into the rest of the things that I'm into now: the financial services, the trucking business, the insurance business. You know, everything kind of real estate. Because I was getting a lot of questions just for people like you who come to the tax people and like, hey, do you know anybody that can do this? Well, I got tired of referring that business to other people, and I said, let me go ahead and get my licenses in all these different areas so that I can keep all that money.
Most definitely.
Here we are today.
Most definitely, because like you said, man, a lot of those businesses you offer, man, are essential, and I mean essential. You need your taxes done. You need financial services, because, like I said in the beginning, a lot of us don't know about money. Thank God that my parents taught me about money. I know
Well, that's a
about
blessing.
growth stock mutual funds and single stocks, and I know about this stuff. I know about compound interest. Okay, we're gonna get into that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
So I understand that I'd rather buy a pair of Nikes stock than buy a pair of Nikes. So
Now you're preaching.
I understand that. Hey, I want to build something for my financial future, because Social Security ain't gonna be there when I get to retirement age.
Me either.
So
Me either.
so you have to build your nest egg now while you're
Yeah,
young. You can't
yeah.
chase the bling and glitz and glam and be podunk and trying to struggle being a gritty at Walmart in your 70s.
Well, listen, this is kind of what they preach to us, though, right? Unfortunately for our society, what's pushed is an agenda to make us mentally retarded, where we think that only thing that's out there is being a rapper, being an athlete, and or being a drug dealer, right? Now, unfortunately, I fell victim to all of those things that we just talked about right there, right? Played ball growing up. Unfortunately, I had a past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get caught up into that system where it's like, is this really it? Is this really all I can do? No, it's definitely not, right? And challenge myself to make a better term. Actually, it was because of my child. Once I had my daughter, everything kind of turned for me, and I realized, like, you know what? I was being selfish by doing some of the things that I was doing, and it's time for me to kind of grow up and be a man. And that was 17 years ago, right?
Most definitely.
And I'm gracious to God for allowing that to happen, because who knows where I would be at right now if I would even still be here. But it's a blessing to be able to have a motivational factor to help you go forward and propel me into what I'm doing now, which is, trying to inspire and uplift other people and empower other people to get off your keister, basically.
Yes, and see, that's a great point you make, Ron. Is this because a lot of times people, they don't have that push. They just go with the status quo and go with the flow, is getting in that cycle of the same thing every day, the same thing every year, and not look ahead. You have to have a goal, be focused
Yeah.
on something. What is it you want to accomplish? And
Yeah.
and get things done. Your book helps with that, and also money-wise, right? If you want to have a nice house, a nice car, you might need to not try to do it and right now go in debt, because debt's not your friend.
Right.
Debt is your enemy. Now, yes, you need to have good credit, but debt is your enemy. Talk a little bit about that, brother. Am I wrong about that? Or tell me.
No, there's different perspectives. There are some people that say there's a such thing as good debt, right? And there's a such thing as bad debt. Depending on where you are financially, I think that has a lot to do with whether it's good debt or bad debt, right? One of those things that what you just hit was credit. Credit is power. Again, in our community, and I think it's getting better now, but in our community, credit was not something that was really taught about. I never even heard about credit when I was growing up. And my parents were both hardworking individuals. Now, as a grown up, I realized what credit was once I went to the military and I was blowing it, completely messing it up. But having credit is power. Being able to go into a bank with a 700 plus credit score and kind of sit down and talk to them like, hey, I need a loan, or I need this vehicle loan, or I need a line of credit, or I need a credit card. And them saying, okay, Ryan, here you go, da 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 da. Versus me going to the bank previously and sitting down with a 560 credit score, like, yeah, I'm still good, right? Can I get this loan? They like, depart from me, man. Like, you don't even know what you're doing yet. So, establishing credit is a great thing, and you need it if you're going to be in business. You need it if you're not in business. Debt. Again, we got that good debt, bad debt thing. Debt is one of those things where if you just aimlessly added credit to yourself or added debt to yourself, try to get yourself in a bunch of loans just because it's available with no ability to pay it back, got a credit card because you was in college and they offered it to you with no ability to pay it back.
That was me.
Well, it's a setup anyway, right? When you go to college, or they used to do it. I don't think right now.
A free T-shirts and pizza, man.
There you go. And they know you need it. You're in college. They're like, food and clothes. They're going to come over here and get the credit card and blow it.
I had 12, bro, one day. I signed up for 12 cards in one day. 2006, bro. 12.
You were the perfect candidate for them. You understand?
Yes. Yes.
The perfect candidate, brother. So that, again, but there's no knowledge of that. And I guarantee you, if there was a class first before you checked in, or when you enrolled in college, if there was actually a finance class that you had to go through, you wouldn't have took the credit card because you would have already had knowledge of, right? That's what they try to do now for these athletes. They get these young guys, pay them millions of dollars, and now they started giving them like a finance class. And you know what I mean? They start teaching them the importance of getting a business, getting a nonprofit, blah, 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 blah. But again, you had to be a professional athlete to get that knowledge, and that's recently. But what about the regular individual? We go to school. How many times do they teach that in finance class or economics? I didn't learn about credit in economics.
I sure did not. Me neither.
Okay. So, these are not taught, but I believe they're not taught for a reason, right? It behooves us to have people full of thinkers and are wise at making smart decisions versus the people that continuously bless the credit card companies' pockets every year because they're taking high interest credit cards and the rates are changing and all this other type of stuff. So, there's a true statistic that says they're making like almost $1 trillion a year just off of interest.
Yes.
$1 trillion a year off of interest.
Yes.
Right? So we must get smarter with your finances, and also, Len, let's work on our credit. Let's not let another year go by without us doing that.
I'll give you an example. Capital One, I'm calling about. I have a Capital One credit card. Interest rate,
me too.
12.99%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sent me an offer via the email for a saver card, 24.99% for 12 months no interest. I said, why in the bloody hell would I get a credit card that's double what my interest rate on my other card?
Yeah.
And my score's in 700, so it's in the 700s. Like, what? Third dimension hell you think I'm coming from?
Because most people will just look at the 12 months no interest and not pay attention to the actual fact that they're about to pay more in that credit department, right?
Yes. That's
just the true statistic. The other thing that will happen, you have credit card companies send out a thing every year. So you can start off with a 5 or 6 or 7% interest rate. The following year, they're going to change the interest rate, right? Mm-hmm. And most people don't read. I dare say 98% of the people that get credit cards don't read that year-end statement that comes where it lists, hey, if you use this credit card now, our rates are going to change, and you agree to it by using this credit card as of tomorrow.
Yes.
Who knows that, right? I didn't even know that until I got into the credit business, that's really how they do it. And there are tons of companies out there that lay heavy on that. Amex, Capital One, as you stated. You know what I mean? There's a ton of companies that are major, that are really, really good, is the interest rate. So for us as a consumer, we got to be much smarter and be more aware. But yeah, it's definitely out there. There's gimmicks. I mean, they wouldn't be in business if they weren't smart. So I'm going to give them credit for that.
It takes people like you and me who don't understand it and read the fine print
Yeah, you got to.
to know what's good. And also, this other trick that I'll tell you about credit cards is, people, and Ryan, you can verify this, is the
Yes, sir.
average daily balance.
Oh
They're
yeah.
not gonna, even though you pay it to a certain amount, they're gonna hit you interest off of the average
Average daily
daily
balance.
balance, not
Yes,
the
sir.
average balance you pay it down to,
Right. Right. You telling the truth?
and squeeze you that way.
Basically, what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is if your balance is 15,000 and your limit is 15,000, just because you pay it down doesn't mean you're gonna pay smaller interest. You're gonna pay interest on that 15,000 versus you paying interest on $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You got that right. And now, bro, let me just go about this. For people during the pandemic, what are
yes, sir.
some tips you have for the people to save money, conserve money, and make the money work for them more and stretch out what they have? Because if less is coming in, you have to conserve somewhere and budget somewhere. So what's
Right.
to help people conserve more money inside when less is coming in?
Well, I'm gonna tell you it's kind of cliche and it sounds very simple, but the number one thing people need to do right now is budget. All right. And when I say budget, I mean really looking at yourself and asking yourself what's a need and necessities versus the things that you want that is just a waste. You made a good example earlier about Nikes, right? So we'll stay there. We'll use Jordans though. That's not a necessity. That's a shoe, but it's not a necessity. If you can feel like you can afford to spend the $300 on a pair of Jordans during the pandemic, knowing that you don't have any other income coming in, and that $300 could go towards a light bill or two bills, even for your house, but you decide to go with the Jordans, your priorities are in the wrong place, right? So we got to learn to prioritize what's most important versus play. The other thing, alluding to your question, is how can you make money work for you? Well, again, the stock tip that you just said, there are tons of different money loopholes, I would say, that you can invest your money into that will continuously make you money. That could be buy stocks or bonds, and those are normally set amounts. Stocks are, depending on how you invest, you can invest hardcore, you can invest moderate, or you can invest low. So your rate of return is going to be based on that as well. The other thing that I tell people to do, us black people got to do, where you can also cash accumulate, life insurance, right? Life insurance. I'm tired of seeing all these people dying and we got GoFundMe's on everybody's account. Or, the old school church would have a fish dinner or, like, come on, we're in 2020. If you don't know about life insurance, you need to ask somebody. You can get a whole life policy or you can get an IUL where you can invest a little bit of money in overfunded where you can be accumulating cash, which is accumulating interest on a monthly basis or a daily basis based on still how you like to invest. And if you need to use some of that money, you can pull it back tax-free, right? Also, if something was to happen to you, your beneficiary, your children or your wife or your spouse or whomever would get that money tax-free, plus whatever cash is accumulated on top of that, right? And these are all smart money tools that you can utilize for a little bit of nothing. So let's be a little bit wise when we're doing this and start thinking long term, because the notion is that we have to do everything today because tomorrow's not promised. And when we live like that, we leave nothing for the people that we really love, right? There's no game plan. And that sucks because we're not able to pass down wealth to the next generation, which is why we're behind the wealth gap, like 57-1 type. It's ridiculous, right? So we need a lot of work in that area.
Exactly. You have to have a plan, and also you said budgeting. Like a lot of people like to go out to eat and buy food, and
Yeah.
maybe cook at home. Maybe like I said, need versus want. Because I'm
Yeah.
like it's kind of basic, but it's just changing that mindset to that principle where I need to worry about me, not flexing for the gram or the book or the tweets. You know what I'm saying? Because I know people who in the medical field make
Yeah.
6 figures a year can barely pay their rent every month because
Yeah.
they want to
Yeah.
flex. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
It's imperative. Like I said, this new model that they're pushing on us, the agenda seems to be, go buy a bunch of things that are worthless and spend all your money. For black people, I think we need to also understand that the biggest thing is we're the number one consumers in the world. Okay, not in the United States, not in the UK, in the world. Right? Black Americans are the number one consumers in the world. But saying that though, we spend almost like $800 billion. In saying that, we own like 3%. 3% of the world we own. That's horrible for us to spend, almost two countries worth of money, right? Not cities, not states, countries, right? So we have the power to change our situations. It's literally mindset, right? And I'm glad you said that. In the first chapter of Getting Things Done, I'll talk about 10 mindsets that are normally thrown out there, but it's skewed, it's messed up, and we need to change and flip those mindsets. So, mindset is very powerful because your battle is here. If you can change your mind, you can do anything else.
Yes, you gotta also say no when you want to say yes. Because me, I'm called cheap because I choose not to buy things I don't need. Like, look, I will go to JCPenney's, Kohl's, Woof de Woo, and buy what I need, and I'll be done with it. I don't wear the hip hop brands. I'm not flashy. I got called an old man by a female because I wear Kango hats and slacks and a button down.
What you mean? She didn't like that beanie, man? Are you serious?
I'm an old man. I'm an old man. You need to step up your swag. And this woman's in her 40s. I'm like, ma'am, swag. I'm thinking about my bank account and my 401k and my stock options, baby. I ain't worried about swag and flexing for the people in the ATM.
Well, I hope for that lady's sake that she takes some tips because, she's in her 40s now. She's about to hit 50. And I hope she got her game plan together. She ain't just out here trying to buy Gucci and Louis bags that are going to be worthless.
Fashion Nova.
You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I told you already, our mindsets are jacked up.
Yes.
And it really is so that we don't get it almost. And it's so much the norm to the point I don't even watch regular TV, brother. Right? Because I feel like they just push the BS on us. I'm not a fan of any of the Housewives of any city because I think it's a bunch of crap.
Yes.
And what it is to me personally, I feel like they're poisoning the younger generation of women to make them believe that certain things are normal when truly they're not, right? A lot of these housewives that are on TV are, had well-to-do husbands, right? At least at some point. Now, a lot of them may not even be married no more. They're not even housewives.
Correct. They're divorced wives. They are.
Right, like, how is that show even still going? Talk about housewives and you're not even a wife. But
exactly.
I don't get it. But hey, man, so to somebody that makes sense and it's entertainment. But what it really is poison. So I try to steer from that, but I also try to encourage people to, find you something that's solid and that makes sense, right? You have to make logic and common sense is not common for most people.
You got that right.
It's really horrible that we can say that, but it is.
Now, for our people who are working, pre-tax 401k or Roth 401k, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll take pre-tax because it lowers your amount of taxable income. So if I was to do that, I would employ almost anyone to do stuff pre-tax, right? Also for the reasons that, you can say pre-tax, and I have two different products that I normally push, right? Pre-tax to lower the taxable income. Post-tax, let them take the taxes now, and then you're tax-free later, because they can only tax you once, right? So you're basically just deciding on if you want to be taxed right now or you want to be taxed later. There's two reasons why you would want that, right? Neither is wrong. It just depends on how you want to pay your taxes. Plus, if you take the taxes out right now, we already know the tax rate right now. If you think about it, in 20 years, do we think the tax rate is going to go up or going to go down, right? Most common, it's going to go up. So if you have the option and it makes sense for you to do that, take the taxes out right now. So that way, when you're ready to pull your money and use your money, you don't have to be taxed on it again. If you take the pre-tax dollars, you lower your taxable income right now. However, when you pull your money, you just have to know that whatever the tax rate is, you're going to be taxed on it.
Got you. And for those who have company matches, I
Yeah,
try to tell people who ask me, go up to your company match. If you can afford more, go more, depending on your budget and what you have.
yeah,
So, what are your
definitely.
thoughts on that?
I would say the same thing. If they're going to match you on something, match it. Right? That's free money. So whatever their max is on your match it, go up to that. I mean, if you choose to go over that, that's great. But I would at least go whatever they're going to match. So if they're matching 6%, put in 6%. If they're matching 7%, put in 7%, and then watch how it grows, or watch how it doesn't, and then you'll know, the better of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. But if they're going to put it in, it's free money to you, especially if you're going to be there long term. If that's a position where you feel like you're going to be there long term, man, get all the money you can.
Most definitely. Now, the CARES Act, Ryan, allow people to pull out money from their 401ks.
Yes.
Um, what is the impact of that? Because I got a lot of people who reach out to me saying they took money out of their 401k, so they wanted to hear from you about that. So, what's the
Okay.
impact of that tax wise now and down the road? And they have to refund their 401k that they took out the money out of already.
If you got a loan on your 401k, took out a loan against your 401k, normally there's not a tax penalty because you're paying back your own money. If you're just taking out money, then yes. When you take out money from your 401k, you want to pull 40, 50,000, 10,000, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you're checking that box where you take an extra 10%. So take the initial 10% and take the extra 10% because that money is going to be added to your income on your taxes for whatever year that is. That's going to be actual income that's added to your income. So you want to take out the max amount of tax that you can to lower your taxable interest, or excuse me, your taxable income amount, right? So that you're not getting killed. I had clients that they made $100,000 and they took out 50,000, and initially they're at $100,000 tax rate. Well, you take out that 50,000, now you're at $150,000 tax rate. So you might have went at a 26% tax rate initially, but you took out that money, and now you're at 28%. 2% don't sound like a lot, but $3,000, $4,000 later, you'd be like, okay, I should have took out taxes. And most people don't do it because they feel like they're going to lose their money, but you don't understand you're going to pay taxes on that anyway.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, for you, which with your paychecks. No, I'll
Right.
be honest with you, I'm a guy who takes out zero exemptions.
That's
I don't do it.
good.
I don't do it. I let them take what you want to take out of it
Yeah, that's
and do
good.
what you do. But some people want to do two or do one or have zero just half the
Or
year
9.
or two. So talk to people about setting up their W-4s with their employers so they can maximize what they get back at the end of the year or not owe the government at the end of the year.
All right, so Bossman had just expressed a very good point. If you use zero, then you're taking out the most taxes you can take out, and at the end of the year, you shouldn't owe, right? And depending on however your paycheck is structured, I mean, if you're making 50, 60, $100,000, you definitely shouldn't owe at the end of the year. If you're making 200, 250, then you want to make sure that you can break even. But you do that by taking out the maximum amount of taxes that you can, right? So this is kind of by tax bracket. You can Google tax brackets on Google, actually. You right? You can go to H&R Block. They got different tax brackets. They'll show you what those brackets or percentages are, so you can kind of gauge for yourself. The other thing is, we all know people who want as much money as they can get during their paycheck, and they don't want to think about the taxes until it's tax time. So if that's you and you're putting 5, 7, 9, 11, or you're filing exempt, then understand that the reality of you getting money back at the end of the year is 0 to none, right? Now, you might be doing some fugazi, but the reality is you should be paying some kind of money back to these people, right? The amount, that depends on your tax professional or CPA or whatever, but you definitely, because you didn't take out any taxes, right? So what makes you think that because you didn't take out any taxes, that they're going to give you some money, like they owe you this? And this is the thing that throws me off about people. Maybe they don't understand this, so I'll say this. The only reason you're getting tax money back is because you paid taxes in,
Yes, you pay
period,
too much in.
right? So that's the only reason they're giving you something. It's not because you are owed this by the government. It's not it. If that was the case, man, they owe me $1 million. But you get money because of the money that you paid in the taxes. And basically, it's a loan that you overfunding your loan all year long, and if you overfund it right, then you get money back. If you don't fund it at all, you have to pay those people what you owe. Give Caesar what's Caesar's, basically.
Yes, you got that right. And last one on the money tip, we go to the entrepreneurial tip, is this.
Yes,
For people out here who want to get involved in stocks, do you recommend Robinhood, Acorn, and Webull, or do you recommend them get with a brokerage like TD Ameritrade to try to do that? Or go try to get a mutual fund, some maybe some moderate ones don't go too aggressively. So what are your thoughts on people who want to invest money or do a Roth IRA even? So what are your thoughts on those investment options for people who want to get in that retirement thing and help them be wealthy down the road and build that wealth?
So I actually have Robinhood and Acorn and a few other ones, right? E-Trade. All of those are good if you like to play around, if you want to see for yourself kind of what's out there. I would tell you to get a start with doing it like that. Depending on the amount of money that you have to invest, it may be lucrative for you to go to a TD Ameritrade or one of the big stockbrokers that are out there who can kind of assist you. I mean, they get paid off of your money. So it behooves them to put you in a good product, right? However, if you just want to get started, yeah, definitely try Robinhood or Acorn or something like that where you can kind of control what's good and invested, but that requires you to pay attention. When you go to one of the big boys, you kind of just say, hey, this is my amount, and you let them know, like, I want to invest moderately or, high risk. High risk means high reward though, but or you want to do, a low scale, like you just want to be safe. Put it someplace where I can make 2-3%, you know what I mean, and be comfortable. But it's over time. Stocks are not a home run hitter, right? Stocks are something that grows with time. So as long as you understand that you can put some money in stocks, every blue moon you might hit a home run though. Maybe there is some penny stocks that are out there that are going to boom in the next couple of months. Well, that's few and far between. But what you want to do is get like with a Nike or with a Jordan or a Starbucks or something that's consistently growing. Google, Facebook. So try to get in low and sell high. Basically, is the concept for stocks. Buy low, sell high.
Yes, and also diversify your portfolio as well, Ryan. Because I have single stocks, I have growth stock mutual funds, Roth IRA, my 401k, and I have bonds. So you want to diversify. You don't want to have all your money in one basket per se.
Never do that.
Talk about that a little bit as well.
Never put all your eggs, right? As my grandma would say, don't put your eggs in one basket, son. So, and the reason for that is because if something happens with all your eggs over here, then you're done. Right, it wipes you out. So diversifying is fine. For myself, we have, real estate. We have stocks. We have life insurance. Got a bond, right? So these things are all great. Mutual fund as well. I'm trying to think everything else I have. But you want to make sure that your money is out there. And what I tell anybody is also find something that you like, right? Find a stock or find a venture or something that you like, and then invest into that. Don't just invest in something that you don't like because it won't make sense for you, right? If something happens to it, you'll pull it too fast. Or if something goes good, you'll yank all the money out instead of keeping it in there and letting it rise. So find out what it is or what company interests you if you're going to do the stock portion of it and do that. Or if you want to go mutual funds or you want to go to a CD or something like that, find out what bank's going to give you the most interest rate, right? Just it's a little due diligence on your part, but it's going to go a long way.
Now, always remember, folks, compound interest is your friend.
Big facts. He's speaking facts.
CI is your friend. I like me some CI.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Now, let's go with the entrepreneurship. Starting your own business. Now, Ryan, this is what I tell people all the time. You cannot let those around you bring you down. You have to stick to your guns. If you have an idea, you want to make it happen, hey, either they with you or you not. Because I can just go for myself. 2010, when I starting the Bossman show, 2010, I had people who told me I couldn't do this. Look where I'm at today.
Right.
Because my mindset told me, screw you. I'm gonna be a radio host and be successful. And God willing, I've done it, and I'm doing it now.
Right.
So
Right.
when you have an
Salute to you for
idea,
sticking with it.
when you have an idea, you
Yeah.
gotta not let those around you, be family, friends, coworkers, whoever, take you off your path and bring you down.
Yeah. I would say to that, and I say this all the time because I have real life friends. One of my best friends told me when I first got into the tax business and I stopped working in the oil field that I was crazy. He's my best friend now, right? He told me I was crazy and I need to go back and get that check. And I told him what I wanted was power. What I wanted was my own freedom. And I'm not going to ever get that working for somebody else. And now, this is my best friend. And while he was talking all that trash, he was also one of my first clients. So he literally saw me transition from 1 year to 2 year to 3 year. Now I got 1,000 clients. Now I got multiple offices. He's like, I might have been my 4th year in. He came to me and told me, he's like, man, you know what? I didn't think you could do it, but man, I'm proud of you, you know? And the reality sunk in for me because what you have to realize is that most people, and I heard this from a preacher, most people want to be told what to do, right? It takes a real person to have some nuts to become an entrepreneur because it's not easy.
Got that right.
Right? It's not easy. There are going to be some great days, but there are going to be some days that are going to be very challenging. They're going to be very interesting. And you're going to want to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, man, is this what I want to do? Because being an entrepreneur, everything is on you, right? Yes. You can't blame anybody else for your lack of success or the struggles or whatever the case may be. But you need to learn from those things that may stumble you up at the same time. So for entrepreneurs that are out there or, you know, people that want to become an entrepreneur, if you're out there right now, you know, I always tell people just jump, right? Just jump. Because a lot of times people become entrepreneurs based off of their situations, right? Think about the pandemic. How many entrepreneurs were birthed because they lost their job and people realized, like, you know what? I don't control this anymore. You know, people that work at great Fortune 500 companies that got laid off, people that had pensions and all these great things that were left behind because they didn't fulfill a year time span or whatever the case may be, but they thought they were going to have this money set aside for them when they turned 55 or 60, but they got laid off at year 15 because of COVID, right? Now you ain't got none of that stuff that you thought you were going to have. You know what I mean? You've lost all those things. Now what are you going to do? So I challenge people to understand that you can have a great job and that job can pay you great, but get a side hustle at least. You know, establish something else on the side so that if something, the worst case scenario ever happened, you have something else to fall back on. A hobby or a little passion or a thing like that. But like I said, for those individuals like myself and yourself who are, you know, the entrepreneurs that do this on a daily basis, man, understand to be 10 toes down with it. And the race isn't given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endures. So you're going to persevere through this. Nipsey Hussle said, the marathon continues. Understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Right?
Exactly. And, you know, you can't let those outside forces affect your mental or
you better not.
Your naysayers, your doubters, because like your best friend and people I know came to me and said, wow, you really did this. You really said you're going to do this. I didn't think you could do it. But you have to believe in yourself. Self-love is the best love. Believe in self first. Know you can do this. Have confidence in you and pray to God and have your mindset so you can through those tough days. Like for me, right now, my advertising money is not what it used to be, but I'm still doing my job, right? I'm here hustling still, right? I'm not letting it bring me down. I ain't been in my studio in months, but I'm here in my basement talking to you right now on the show, right?
Got to make it happen, right?
Adapted and adjusted to make my business flow, keep running. So talk about that, how you that mindset thing, like getting things done, all goes hand in hand.
I'm gonna give 3 words, and I learned this the hard way. You have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to conquer, right? All right, and overcome, right? So you're going to adapt, overcome, and then conquer in that order, right? Adapt to whatever the situation is, overcome that situation, and then conquer that situation. Whatever that is, in business and personal. And as an entrepreneur, those are things that you're going to have to learn to adapt to whatever the struggle is that's coming up. You're going to have to learn to overcome that particular struggle. And then you're going to have to learn to conquer that thing, stand on that thing and say, you know what, I will not be defeated. I will be successful. I will be great. My business will flourish and mean it, right? On a daily basis. You know, for those that believe, pray. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Pray and just ask for guidance. You know what I mean? That you make good decisions and good choices. But
And
definitely do those things, man. Adapt, overcome, and conquer.
yes, and use your talent. Find out what your talent is. Make your talent profitable. Because you might have a talent for singing, cooking, whatever, baking, and whatever. Make your talent profitable.
Yeah.
Try it because you never know. Who would thought Uber would have been popular as it is, right? That was
Not
probably
me. And
that was probably
and,
like
I, and I'm mad I didn't invest in it when I could have. I could have invested in Uber when it was like a little bit of nothing out there in Vegas. I was just like, yeah, right. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna just jump in somebody's car that they don't know? Well, look at him now.
look at we on Zoom. Who would thought about
Right.
Zoom? We
Not
on
me
Zoom.
again.
You know, like so. When you have an idea, run with that because you never know. It might be the one that changes the whole world for the better.
Facts. Big facts. You telling them no lies were told today.
I want to make sure you keep me honest, brother. Keep me honest. If I'm lying to the people, let me know.
Nah, listen, my man Bossman is definitely telling the truth. Definitely follow your passion, follow your love, because if you love what you do, it's never work. And whatever that is, don't be afraid to jump out on faith and follow that passion because whatever that is that you're good at, somebody might be willing to pay you for it. Folding clothes. Somebody had to do it. There's dry cleaners out there. Somebody had to do it. There's people that
Yes.
come and clean houses. Somebody had to do it. There's young guys and women that power wash. Somebody got to do it. You know what I mean? These are things that happen. When I grew up, I used to cut grass on the weekends to make extra money. Somebody got to do it. So don't ever think that your idea is too small or not good enough to qualify you to make some money, man. Because there's nothing too small or too big. Whatever you think about can be done and achieved.
Now, Ryan, tell my listeners how they can get your book, where they can follow you at, where they can support you, and also become one of your clients too. Help this man
For
make some
sure.
money. Make him be the brother he is today, man. Keep him going, my people.
All right, check it out, everybody, man. You can go to ryanknowsbest.org. All my social media handles are there. You can also purchase both my books. Be on the lookout for anything Ryan Akers. It will be there, ryanakers.org. Check me out. You can book a consultation if you like. You can do one-on-one coaching if you like. Like I said, you can purchase the books. You can tap into a lot of the different things that I got going on. And hey, man, I appreciate Bossman for having me out here. I hope that I was beneficial and I inspired someone today.
Oh, you brother, you will, and I hope because this we pushed out globally. Because we're here in
Yes,
my
sir.
basement, but guess where it goes to?
To the
Atlanta.
world,
It
baby.
goes to the world, baby. Who would have thought we in Boss Man basement in suburban Atlanta, and it goes to the whole world? Look at that. Look at God.
That's powerful right there. That's powerful.
Yes, indeed, Mary Ryan. Thank you for your time, brother. This was fun. We have to do this again real soon, my guy.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Anytime, it's Ryan Akers on the Boss Show. People, check my man out. Ryan knows best. Get
Yes,
his
sir.
book. Get things done.
All righty.